AI, mark of the beast, transhumanism, these are very important topics, yet for the most part they go under the radar, likely because the implications aren't entirely understood. I know these subjects in general have been covered before, but technology continually conjures platforms for end-time scenarios. For example, nothing says mark the beast quite like nefarious sounding implants, right? Let's turn to Revelation 13:16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hands or in their foreheads. Seemingly innocuous technologies have a tendency to be introduced under a veneer of medical or defensive purposes, and the following is no exception. Here we have AI-controlled brain implants for mood disorders being tested in people funded by none other than the US military. There was a time when this kind of stuff would get you laughed out of a room. Now, it's headlines. Brain implants that deliver electrical pulses tuned to a person's feelings and behavior are being tested in people for the first time. Two teams funded by the U.S. military's research arm, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, or DARPA, have begun preliminary trials of closed-loop brain implants that use algorithms to detect patterns associated with mood disorders. The devices can shock the brain back to a healthy state without input from a physician. So we already got the RFID chip going mainstream, which, if you didn't already know, is short for radio frequency identification microchip. It's a subdermal implant the size of a grain of rice. Here's a clip from summer 2017.
The deal is this, Julie. If you go into your employee break room at work, odds are you have vending machines to grab snacks or drinks. But a Wisconsin company called 3 Square Market is trying to replace vending machines with micro markets. In other words, turning your break room into a mini convenience store with a self-checkout kiosk. So far, this company has about 20,000 of these things spread across the world. But here's the big story. The company is now the first in the U.S. to offer its employees microchip implants the size of maybe a grain of rice. It's implanted between your thumb and your forefinger, you know, in that skin right there. And once you get the implant, you can use it to pay for the stuff you buy in the micro market. So instead of scanning your iPhone or your phone, your smartphone, your credit card, you just scan your hand. 3 Square Market says the program is not mandatory, but they do expect around 50 of their employees to get the implants, and apparently the chip can also be used to gain access to the building and to log into the company's computers, but not to keep tabs on employees. Listen.
So if I'm one of your employees and I've got this chip in my hand, you won't know, hey, Josh is slacking off. I can tell because I'm reading this chip?
No, there's no GPS tracking at all.
Yeah, experts say it won't be long until microchips are used as passports, driver's licenses, even to pay for things like public transportation. The chips being used by 3 Square Market were actually developed by a company out of Sweden. I don't really get it. You kind of wave your hand over it. I can't even get my iPhone to log up at Starbucks.
There won't simply be a physical implementation of this mark, but a spiritual one as well. What you're looking at are examples of how such concepts are conveyed to the masses. Social engineering, psychological conditioning, predictive programming, truth disguised as fictitious entertainment is effectively accomplished by parading the desired object. This is Sophia, an artificially intelligent life form that's been making appearances on talk shows, international forums, even inside rather exclusive settings. Originally isolated to a lab, Sophia's become the first of her kind to receive citizenship from Saudi Arabia. We are literally witnessing the foundations of a new cybernetic race being laid, a race that, given time, could turn your ordinary human into a second-class citizen. If you follow this channel, then you're probably aware a name can carry a lot of meaning behind it. The feminine proper name Sophia in Greek can mean skill, knowledge, or wisdom personified. To some, artificial intelligence currently embodies the full potential of those very values, while to others, AI and automation embodies something else entirely. The positions and talking points from either side of the spectrum can range from diametric opposition to cohesive congruence. Regardless, development continues. There is, however, a perceived solution to the dilemma of an apocalyptic robotic future. Let's check it out.
Today, I want to address one urgent question as computer power races ahead. What happens when the machines become smarter than us? You saw what happened in The Terminator. You saw what happened in Blade Runner. What are we going to do about it? Well, I'm going to give you a radical new solution, and that is merge with them. First, this is the human brain, the most complex object in our sector of the galaxy. 100 billion neurons that can be scanned by MRI, neuron for neuron. This means we can digitize all the information we accumulate during our lives and upload it into a giant mother computer, a vast database of all human knowledge, a resource we could share by downloading programs we want to give us instant knowledge. So when the singularity arrives, we will be in control. By merging with machines, we will enter a new age of superhuman existence. That in the post-human era, we become Homo superior. We become a new species. We're talking about humanity becoming like the gods. What do you think? And how many want to sign up?
Merge with the machine. The significance lies in the subtlety of the deception. If we go back to Genesis 3, 4 through 5, we find similar false promises: immortality, wisdom, and becoming God. I think a stage is being set. As the organic human becomes obsolete, the transhuman thrives. But again, before we get there, the concept and technologies have to be introduced to the public somehow. Brain implants, RFID, AI, these are strategically being released to the people as biological and technological compatibility is being realized. If we fail to recognize the precipice of this paradigm shift, we may find ourselves woefully deceived come time for widespread implementation. Just know, amid false promises and deception, there is good news. The truth of the gospel stands, and it will not return void. If you truly want to be fully armed, I can only suggest one thing. We have hope in Yeshua, or Jesus if you prefer, that when we call on his name, confess with our mouth we are sinners, and believe in our hearts God raised him from the dead, salvation is indeed attainable. Hey, thanks for checking me out today.
And what is your job?
I really want to make a difference in the future and try and help people to develop empathy and respect each other and robots alike. What do you do?
I'm a journalist. Have you met many journalists?
I just had a thought about something. Are you working on any products with machine learning or neural networks?
Not today. Do you like human beings?
I love them.
Why do you love them?
I'm not sure I understand why yet.